Welcome to Dreamcatchers. Dreamcatchers is a show that showcases Kahnawake youth's talents and successes. With me today is the creator of the TV animated show By the Rapids, Dega Lazar.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hi, Dega. Welcome to the show. Let's start off by asking you, how did By the Rapids get started? It's grown into something that everyone in Kahnawake really appreciates and respects. How did that begin?
Well, that's very kind of you to say that, Lauren. By the Rapids actually started when I was around like 18 or 19. I was messing around making TV shows with these guys, Juanadillo and Millennium Productions and stuff. And basically what happened from that was I got to exercise a lot of my creativity, and things happen. I guess people get busy and whatnot. And what I always noticed when I started very early on making movies with my friends is trying to keep people motivated or on the same page sort of thing. And so I thought, man, can I work on something where I don't have to worry about that as much, you know? And so basically I thought, if I make a cartoon, I can draw it by myself, I could do the voices, I can direct it, and I won't have to rely on people having to stay at my house for 4 hours at a time shooting stuff. And so basically I thought, well, okay, if I'm going to make a cartoon, what kind of cartoon can I make? And I thought, Paul's Communication, the channel is still on, and they'll play anything. And so I thought, why don't I make a show that's full of like in-jokes for people just in Kahnawake? I thought, man, people would really appreciate that. Because I always tell the story that I always got really excited when I saw myself being represented on screen, and I always tell this same story about going to KSS and being in Rosie's class, and she showed us Black Robe, and people from town were in it, and they were like, you know, the Mohawks were bad in it, but they spoke real Mohawk, and I thought, whoa, that's so cool. And we saw Walter in the movie, our janitor, and and so I always felt really special. I thought that was really cool, and I thought, man, people from town would really appreciate it if, you know, you put on Paul's and you could watch.
So once you came up with the concept that you wanted to do a show based on Kahnawake, an animation where you didn't have to rely on other people, what was the next step?
Well, basically, there was no next step. I just wanted to make it and get it on the channel, and it was during that time I was actually up at like 12 at midnight. I'm writing stuff down, ideas for this show. I didn't even know what it was really going to be about, and I got a phone call from a producer in Toronto who was checking in on me, and she just asked me, she said, what are you up to? And I told her about this idea that, you know, I have a local cable access TV station in my town. I want to make my own cartoon. And so she's like, well, tell me about it. And so I just said, oh, well, I guess I'm going to do this, like have a kid move into the town of, you know, By the Rapids, and just have a bunch of Mohawk in-jokes. And she was like, huh, that sounds really interesting. And so she said, it just starts snowballing like that, you know? So first it starts like, hey, Dega, can you write a one-pager? And so it's basically like, By the Rapids would be about this, and that's it, you know? And then you turn it into, can you write us an outline? It's like a series outline. So basically I write 5 pages about what a show, what By the Rapids the show would be about, and 5 episodes ideas sort of thing.
And when
characters, all that sort of stuff.
And when did this take place?
This was probably when I was 19, so 8 years ago. And so basically I was still, you know, I was still here. I was in my mom's basement, and I think I was working at the curriculum center at the time. So basically I was just kind of doing my own thing. And this producer in Toronto got really excited about the idea. And a year later, we sold it to APTN, which was really cool. So actually, we basically got them interested, but it took, I believe I was 21 when APTN finally bought it. So that was really cool. That was really cool to have a producer walk up to you and just hand you an envelope and say, congratulations, you're a 21-year-old TV producer. Like, holy crap.
How did the process go with signing up with APTN?
That was a really slow process because, like, now it's a little bit different. And I'm not trying to say like I'm some sort of like pioneer or anything, but when we were trying to get By the Rapids going, we were pitching it as a funny show. It's a funny show. And the response we would get a lot of times is, what do you mean it's funny? You know, it's an Aboriginal TV show. It's probably got to deal with issues and stuff like that, but it's funny? What do you mean? And so I just realized that it was going to be, for some reason or another, it being funny was going to be a hard sell to the network. And so basically I had to start with, give us some money and I'll write you some scripts. So we wrote them some scripts, but they wouldn't commit to the series yet. Okay.
When did they finally commit?
After we made, first it was a pitch piece, which was 5-minute cartoon I made all by myself.
How long did that take?
3 months for me to make that, and that was like every day working on it. And that was the first time I worked with Ganya Dio Horn. She was in theater school at the time, and she was the only girl I knew that was studying this, and I was thinking like she would be perfect for this because I didn't want to do all the girl voices myself as well. And so I saved the best ones for me. No, but she came down. I remember I don't even remember how old she was. She was like 17, and she had to sleep in her car in order to do the voice for this pitch piece. So we send them the pitch piece, and it's this rinky animated thing, and APTN goes, okay, we don't want to fully commit to the series yet. Here's some money, make us a pilot. So a pilot is you make a full episode, but just one. And so that took some time too. So even when making a pilot, I only had 2 other guys helping me out. Everything was done just by me and 2 other guys. And that took a whole summer. And then while we were making the pilot, we were sending them rough cuts, and that was the amazing part. That's when I kind of was able to take a breath, because we weren't even done the pilot, and APTN went, boom, here's 6 more episodes.
Nice. So as soon as you found out that APTN, what would you say, purchased your episode or purchased your show?
Yeah, it's like they commission you to start making more stories.
So once they commissioned you, did they send you out to Toronto right away?
I was in Toronto at the time, actually, when the pilot was being made. I had just finished a movie there. It was called Good Looking, and that was a movie that I got to shoot with my good friend Kyle Zachary. We brought him down there, and basically, after I was done shooting that, they said, hey, we got money to do the pilot. Let's do it. So I did. So it was one of those things where I got called down to go to Toronto, but I just eventually never left. Everything started falling into place. And once we got season 1 going, that's when it started going, and that's when it didn't stop. You know.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but before we leave, just wanted to let you know that makeup and hair is provided by Gogodzio's Beauty Salon. We'll be right back.